Hi guys, a few days ago Liz Truss, instead of showing leadership during the current strike action that's taking place, suggested that she would push through legislation that would make it either illegal or very difficult to take industrial action, a fundamental right of workers. She seems to be taking the approach of moving further and further to the right and taking on a more confrontational and aggressive approach to issues. The latest example of this is benefits and welfare. This is what she said about unemployment following the pandemic, but of course no mention of Brexit here.
You talk a lot about growth, in fact you both do, which is obviously good. I know a lot of small businesses in and around York who would dearly love to grow. The business is out there, but they simply cannot get the staff. What would you do about that?
Well, you're right. We after COVID, after furlough, it has been difficult getting staff across the country.
And Brexit? No mention of Brexit here, just the pandemic and furlough. To a certain extent, yes, but because during furlough and during the pandemic, what happened was many people were sent home. They were not hired back immediately, so they looked for other jobs. And now, for example, the airline sector is struggling to find the staff they need because they laid off a lot of people and they're not able to hire them back. That is a problem, yes, but also Brexit is a problem. But Liz Truss doesn't want to talk about that.
One thing I would do is tighten up our incentives in our welfare system to encourage more people to go into work.
Now, she says encourage, but what she truly means is force. And I talked about this before on the channel, how I believe the end goal is to have people who are on benefits work for free. So a Tory party donor, for example, or just your average business will be able to bring people into their company, pay them nothing because they'll be on benefits. And if they complain or if they create any problems, they will be fired and they will likely lose their benefits as a punishment. So you'd basically have slave labor. I think this is the end goal the Tories want to achieve.
Still got a lot of economically inactive people who are not taking the opportunities of work. And it's about encouragement. It's about making sure those job opportunities are there. But we need to do that because otherwise the people who are working are bearing the burden of paying the cost. And of course, there are some people who can't work, but there's an awful lot of people who we can encourage to get into work. And I work very closely with Therese Coffey. I know she's looking at this issue, but that is what we need to do. We need to train up more people in the types of skills that we need, and we need to make sure the incentives are there to get people into work.
Look, once again, the incentive she's talking about, this is about forcing people. And when she talks about training takes a long time. It can take months, it can take years. That's why before Brexit, the UK economy relied on foreign workers, because you were able to bring people in who are already trained up, people who are qualified. You could bring them in to do these jobs. Now, if you don't have them, you have to train them up, and that takes months and it can take years. But also this idea that you have full employment, pretty much full employment, but you have job vacancies. And her solution is, well, we're going to take people off welfare, people off benefits, and force them into these types of jobs. But there's a problem there. They either don't have the skills to do these jobs, and if you're going to train them, it's going to take a while, or they're not in the areas where the jobs are. So somebody could be one part of the country, they have the skills, but they can't relocate because of the costs involved. It may not be economically beneficial for them to relocate either. She's living in cloud cuckoo land here. She doesn't understand the real workings of the economy. You've created a scenario through Brexit where you take away a very important asset for companies, their workers. It's more difficult for the companies to bring these workers in. And you're saying, well, the solution is to take people off benefits. In some cases, they don't have the right skills, or they have the skills, but they're not in the location where the jobs are. She doesn't understand this, and she's trying to pretend that she has solutions. And I don't know if you can see just over her right shoulder, there's a guy face palming. Maybe he's thinking what the rest of us are thinking. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.